20.
I'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Chicago-Denver game. This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson in Atlanta, where the Cincinnati Bengals are out in front of the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 10-0 with 1:24 left to go. First quarter, Ken Anderson to tight end M.L. Harris, the backup tight end actually, a 21-yard touchdown pass, and also for Cincinnati, Jim Breach, a 45-yard field goal. That is the scoring. First down Cincinnati at the Atlanta 38-yard line. And Cincinnati has been able to move at will in this ball game offensively, looking exceptionally sharp. Pass a bit overthrown to Isaac Curtis. Bob Glazebrook had the coverage. The standings in the West. Denver, their record is 10-6. San Diego is 9-7. Kansas 9-6, 9-7. Now, if San Diego wins tomorrow night, they are the champions of the West. And that means that San Diego will be the fifth and final playoff team as the champions of the West.
Bear in mind, the Oakland Raiders have not had a losing season in 16 years.
It's going to be a good ball game tomorrow night, what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know that they're going to be ready to play the Chargers.
The Chargers hosting Oakland tomorrow night. Interception. Kenny Johnson has the interception. First turnover of the ball game. And for Kenny Johnson, that is his third interception of the year. The first break for the Atlanta Falcons.
And that ball was underthrown.
17 yards on the interception return. We've got a timeout. The score here in Atlanta is Cincinnati 10 and Atlanta nothing.
Baltimore, the Patriots and Colts are meeting, and since they've only won 3 times in 30 tries, you know they're bad. Here's visual evidence. Nonetheless, the Colts are out in front 23-14 in the fourth. Let's go back to Atlanta.
All right, thank you, Brian. Quite a few no-shows here in Atlanta today. Their record is 7-8. They had a long shot at the playoffs, but when the Giants defeated Dallas yesterday, and boy, what a ball game that was, and that took them out of the playoff picture. Oh, perhaps on a cool Sunday afternoon, a lot of people are staying home. Lynn Kane, the intended receiver, is incomplete. Now let's update the scoreboard. Lynn?
Second quarter, Washington leading the Rams by the score of 6-0. Houston still ahead of Pittsburgh 7-3. That ball game's in the second quarter. First quarter scored Seattle 14, the Cleveland Browns nothing. For Atlanta, they're facing a second 10 situation. They're facing a situation where they've got to get things going. They're down by 10 points.
Bartkowski has completed 5 of 9 for 14 yards. William Andrews just grinding it out and continuing near the 50-yard line. He'll pick up about 7 on the play, carrying Bo Harris and Ben Cameron with it.
Good blocking by that offensive line of the Atlanta Falcons. Those big linemen pulling out there provide a little bit of lane for William Andrews. As you can see right here, 66 is Warren Bryant, pushes his man out, provides a little area there for Andrews to come. And he was hurt. Remember, he left the ball game. He was hurting. That's the type of football player he is. He forgets about that. He's grinding out some additional yards. Third down and 3. Atlanta's 0 for 3 in third down conversion. Can Andrews do it? He should do it. Glenn Cameron makes the tackle. The gun sounding at the end of that play. That is the end of the first quarter. So we have 1 down, but we have 3 to go on a cool and clear afternoon in Atlanta. The score is Cincinnati 10 and the Falcons nothing. They're passing Cincinnati 84 yards, the Falcons 7. That's been the difference. All right, Bartkowski on target to Lynn Kane. Kane splits a tackle inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. It'll be a first down. Back-to-back first downs as Rod Horn and Bobby Kemp make the tackle. 12 yards on the play. Let's go to New York.
Charlie, I guess when you've lost 14 in a row, as the Colts have, you'll try anything. Busted play here. Bert Jones figures it's easier to hide the ball. Nonetheless, looks like they will win today. They're out in front 23-14 in the fourth. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Brian. Andrews, left side. To around the 27-yard line, so he'll have 7. It will be second down and 3. Rod Horn makes the tackle.
Running to that left side behind All-Pro Mike Kent, number 78. Firing out. He's going against Browner, and he's doing a good job of making initial contact. Browner does slip by, though, and jump and gets involved in the tackle.
Second down and 3. Second time in the ballgame that the Falcons have been able to move the ball. Andrews breaks it inside. The first back through to about the 18-yard line and a first down. Rod Horn makes the tackle.
Well, Atlanta's doing things that they like to do well, mixing the run with the pass, giving the football to this man, number 31, William Andrews. He's got 3 men up on that offensive line that are going to the Pro Bowl game. 3 out of the 5. 68 is one of them, R.C. Thielman. He's pulling out. The linebacker just buries himself, so he's got to get down there right with him and bury himself with the linebacker.
Andrews, the 5th back in National Football League history to go over 1,000 yards the first 3 years of his career. Bartkowski to throw, swings right side to Lynn Kane. Kane cuts back against the grain, and he goes to about the 11, maybe the 10-yard line. The Falcons are on the move as Bo Harris and Lewis Breeden bring him down.
3 All-Pros on that offensive line of Atlanta. One of them is number 57, the center, Jeff Van Note. Here he is. It's a screen pass. He just wants to keep that man from getting any penetration. He does that. Here it is again. He's blocking on Horn. Takes him out away from the play, gets the ball out to the back. Kane. He cuts back.
Gain of 7, second and 3. 11-yard line of Cincinnati. Andrews. Just inside the 8-yard line, close to the first down, as Bobby Kemp, the strong safety, and Rod Horn, now the nose tackle, bring him down.
Here they are, the Pro Bowlers for Atlanta. They're all offensive players. Bartkowski, the quarterback, William Andrews, Alfred Jenkins, Mike Kent, R.C. Thielman, and Jeff Van Note. All on offense. Can you imagine that? There are only 11, to my knowledge, 11 people that play on the offense. They have 6 of them going to the Pro Bowl.
9th play of the drive, 7-yard line. First down, goal to go. Andrews slips as he makes his cut, and he's covered. Good defense by the Bengals, led by Glenn Cameron and Bo Harris. They shut him off outside, dropped him at the 10, a loss of 3. It'll be second down and goal to go.
They got very good penetration that time, and I think you probably noticed that William Andrews slipped a little bit when he tried to make a cut. And by that time, when you slip down there with all the defensive players that are hanging around, you're in trouble.
Now, number 85, Action Jackson is in. 3 wide receiver. Here's a look at the top 3 scoring machines. Bartkowski has hit 7 of 11 for 33 yards. It's complete. Jenkins, the intended receiver, and Lewis Breeden is the man who went up for it, but it ricocheted off of his hand.
And Lewis Breeden got up in the air just in time because Bartkowski was drilling that ball. If Breeden hadn't got his hand up there, it would have been a touchdown. Here it is, Bartkowski going out, and he really puts the zip on the ball, but 34 is Breeden, gets up in the air and deflects it away.
And Lewis has to be glad that he's got gloves on because Bartkowski can really fire the ball.
Touchdown passes, getting it into the end zone. Fouts 32, then comes Bartkowski, 29. Anderson just threw a pass, so he's now 28.
Third down, goal to go. Swing right side to Lynn Kane. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Atlanta. Now we've got a ball game.
Now they have something to cheer about. And on that play, they just swung the ball out to the back. He had a great block by Warren Bryant, number 66. Here it is. He's swinging the ball out to the back. 66 coming in. With Warren Bryant the tackle. He knocks the last man out of the way, and it's an easy touchdown for Atlanta.
An 11-play drive, and for Bartkowski, that is his 30th touchdown pass of the season.
They're going to have to change that graphic that we just had
That's
up there
right.
a minute ago, from 29 to 30. I said that both of these teams can get that football into the end zone. That time it was number 21, Lynn Kane, the running back, that took it in.
The extra point is good by Mick Luckhurst. The score is now Cincinnati 10, Atlanta 7, and we'll be back in just a moment with the kickoff.
Seattle, it appears the Cleveland Browns season has hit rock bottom. Dave Craig throwing a 4-yard touchdown pass to Steve Largent. The 5 and 10 Browns are trailing 21-0 in the second. Charlie.
Thank you, Brian. And by the way, congratulations on being the new host of the Today Show. We think it's great. They could not have picked a finer man. Here's number 18, Mick Luckhurst. The extra point that he just made, 48 consecutive, 48 out of 48, and that is a new team record.
111 points also. I said
not too shabby.
This team can put the ball in the end zone or get some points.
Number 81 is David Verser, second in kickoff returns in the AFC. Number 1 draft choice from Kansas. He's going to be a good one, too.
Give him a little bit of daylight out there, and you can say goodbye because he is one that they say that can fly.
He can. He has 4 speed and consistently in that race. Fields the one hopper at the 5 to the 20. Around the 25-yard line, about 20 yards on the return. Paul Davis with a tackle. We'll take a timeout. The score is Cincinnati 10, Atlanta 7. We'll be back in just a moment with the Bengals on offense.
Things have gone from bad to worse for the Cleveland Browns. Paul McDonald to Charles White, USC connection. But Michael Jackson pops the ball loose. Greg Johnson picks it up, and 30 yards later, the Seahawks lead the Browns 28-0. Charlie?
This is bird dog country. Actually, it's dog country. That's the Georgia Dogs, right? Okay. Glad to be here. Cincinnati from their own 26-yard line. They lead by 3. Anderson has hit 6 of 12, 89 yards. 1 touchdown. That is 28th on the year. He's thrown an interception. He goes deep. Collinsworth has it. He'll score. Chris Collinsworth, the rookie from Florida, the Pro Bowler. One of 2 rookies. 74 yards. We've got it all today. Don't go away. Woo!
I meant that these teams can put the ball in the end zone, and they're all very explosive. But I didn't know just how explosive they really were.
Ken Anderson's longest touchdown pass of the year, and his 29th touchdown pass.
Here it is. Chris Collinsworth, one-on-one. Puts a little move to the outside. He's going on Kenny Johnson. Now he's got about 3 steps. The ball is perfectly thrown. You can't ask for a better throw than that of Ken Anderson to this young man. And there is the reason that he is one of 2 rookies to make the Pro Bowl for Cincinnati. The other is Joe Delaney, running back of the Kansas City Chiefs.
74-yard drive in 1 play. Zip. There it is.
You saw the 2 number 1 draft choices to hold the ball. Verser was the first draft choice, and then the other 1A is Collinsworth.
Extra point is good. That play, by the way, consumed 15 seconds. Collinsworth can really fly. 17-7, we'll be back. And Lynn Dawson, and here we go again. Jim Breach kicking off to Reggie Smith.
Reggie Smith can fly, too.
Oh, yeah. Takes it on the run at the 13. To the 30.
There he's still.
Great clean. Back to the 30. Little juke. And then he loses his footing. What a return. A flag is down. 26 yards on the return. David Verser finally got him. But in reality, he stumbled himself after making the inside move. And we have the first flag of the ball game. Second flag of the ball game.
You know, Charlie, that it looked like he just came right out between the legs of those players down there because we lost him in the pile. All of a sudden, he's coming back the other way. Here he is, trying to make his move, and he just, you know, there is an expression what he just did to that man. His face matching against Cincinnati. They're going to take it upfield. David Verser, number 81, was the man called for.
And Reggie Smith, a total of 89 yards on 4 returns. We've got a timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Reggie Smith, 4th in kickoff returns this year. Markowski goes deep. Into coverage, and Jenkins is overthrown. Ken Riley, excellent defensive coverage. He was with him all the way.
Yes, sir. Now, this is Reggie Smith, number 16. He's not a real tall person. 5'4" is what he is listed.
They have problems on the Houston-Pittsburgh telecast, so they've now joined us. We'd like to welcome those. It is Cincinnati 17, Atlanta 7, and this is a wild football game. A quick update. Cincinnati scoring on an Anderson to M.L. Harris 21-yard touchdown pass, and Jim Breach added a 45-yard field goal to make it 10-0. Bartkowski to Lynn Kane, 10-yard touchdown pass, a 57-yard drive. Then Anderson to the rookie Collingsworth, 74-yard touchdown pass. In and out of Lynn Kane's hands. It is intercepted by Reggie Williams. That is his 4th interception of the season and the first turnover by the Atlanta Falcons. So the turnovers are even 1-1.
That is the second pass that Bartkowski has thrown with such velocity that it's gone right through the receiver's hands. The first time it didn't affect him. This time it did because it's going back to Cincinnati. And you can see it hits him right in the chest or shoulders. Bounces up in the air, and Reggie Williams is there, picks up the interception, and excellent field position for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati has the football at the 50-yard line. 9:58, the time remaining. We're in the second quarter here in Atlanta. And, of course, a win for the Cincinnati Bengals. That would mean they would have the home field advantage for all of their playoff games. They already have it for the game 2 weeks from today, or 2 weeks from this weekend.
One thing for a quarterback to know, it's cold down there. Your hands get cold, and it's not as easy to hold on the ball. You have to take off something on your throw sometime. That's a case right there where Bartkowski should have taken something off that throw.
Bingo showing motion. Far side pass is complete to Collingsworth. Steps out of bounds, stops the clock. Kenny Johnson was there for Atlanta. A gain of 6 yards on the play to the 44-yard line. Let's check that scoreboard. Washington 16, the Rams 7, second quarter.
Baltimore leading New England 23-21 in the fourth quarter, and that is for the first-round draft choice. That's right. A very important football game.
Just a minute to go. Minute to go in that ball game. Chris Collingsworth, 3 receptions, 87 yards and a touchdown. Second and 4. Little play action. Anderson's all alone. He can run for the sideline. Picks up the first down, steps out of bounds, and he does it, if you will notice, with about 4 inches to spare, and that is the touch of an 11-year veteran.
Well, he leads all the National Football League quarterbacks in rushing with 311 yards, but he runs wisely. I think to the folks who watched the game yesterday between Miami and Buffalo and see David Woodley run, he doesn't run as wisely as Ken Anderson.
He will in his 11th year, though.
Of course, he hasn't taken the shots that Ken Anderson had taken.
But you remember 11 years ago when everybody said, where's Augustana and who do they play? And we'd run down the whole conference. Boy, what a year Ken Anderson is having. His finest. And he is, at this moment, the finest quarterback in the NFL. Alexander. And Charles picks up the first down as he goes to the 29-yard line. He's got 11. Kuykendall was there.
Well, you know one thing on that play by Alexander, but I'm looking at the tackling out there by Atlanta. The tackling isn't that good because he's running through various arms of the defensive linemen and linebackers. They've got to start getting the shoulder pads into the players. They want to stop these backs because Cincinnati's a fired-up football team. They're in the playoffs, the first time since 1973. They can smell some things out there. They can smell that championship ring.
29-yard line, first down. Pete Johnson inside the 25 to the 24. He'll get 5. It'll be second down and 5. Buddy Curry with the tackle. We've just been on the phone with New York City, and we would like to extend an apology to all of those that were watching the Pittsburgh-Houston game, particularly those in the Pittsburgh and Houston area that want to watch their home team. But it is another of the ongoing problems that have been plaguing us with the phone company, and that is the reason for the switch to this ball game. Simply that something is trying to be worked out, and so far this season when those problems have arisen, it has not been able to be worked out. That is the report from New York. We'd like to apologize again. But while you're here, stay with us because we've got an exciting one. And then just from Lynn and myself, we're kind of glad you joined us.
Pete Johnson, number 46, just rambling up the middle for another first down for the Cincinnati Bengals. And you look at the offense and the running game for Cincinnati, they don't go sideways very much, particularly with this big man. He's 250 pounds. Don't set him sideways, set him straight ahead, because you get him to the line of scrimmage, he's got to pick up at least 3 or 4 yards.
18-yard line, first down Cincinnati. Bengals out in front by 10, 17-7. Archie Griffin. Griffin breaks it inside the 10.
Give it
Hits the
to him.
tackle. He'll score. Archie Griffin, that is his 4th touchdown of the year. And he scores from 18 yards out.
I think you're hearing the response of the fans here in Atlanta. One reason is I just mentioning the tackling of Atlanta's defensive unit. That time he broke about 3 tackles. People are trying to grab that runner with their arms. You can't do it. These runners for Cincinnati are determined. They're expecting to win this football game and go to the playoffs. Here you are, just arms right around there, grabbing at him. He just shakes him loose. Tom Pridemore, number 27, had his hands on him but couldn't bring him down. That's when you got to use the shoulder pads against runners and running with the determination of Cincinnati.
Jim Breach adds the point after a drive of 50 yards in 6 plays, and it was set up by Reggie Williams' interception. Cincinnati out in front. 24-7. We'll be back with a kickoff. The touchdown of the year. Jim Breach will be kicking off to Mr. Excitement. Hold on to your helmet. It's Reggie Smith on the return. Takes it at the 12, to the 20. And he scoots to about the 30 or the 31-yard line where Rick Rosano brings him down. We've got a timeout. Cincinnati has the lead. We'll be back in a moment. Reggie Smith has 5 returns for 109 yards. Congratulations to the telephone company. They fixed it up. You can see the Houston-Pittsburgh game. Let's go back there. Here's Phil Stone. Phil? Oh, that's right. For those of you stay with us. Here we go. Bartkowski has completed 8 of 15 for 43 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Atlanta first down on their own 32-yard line. Andrews comes inside. Just across the 35-yard line where Bo Harris makes the tackle. We'll give him 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 7. We'll keep a running total on William Andrews as far as rushing and receiving for combined yardage. He needs only 76 combined yards. He has 42 already in the ballgame to become the 5th man in NFL history to have more than 2,000 yards in a single season. He joins a very select group of players. On the draw, it is Lynn Kane. Kane to the 40. He's got 5. It'll be 3rd down and 2 as Rod Horn just pulls him down. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WRC-TV, Channel 4, Washington, D.C.
This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. We're in Atlanta. The score is Cincinnati 24, the Atlanta Falcons 7. We have 6:25 and counting time remaining in the first half. 3rd down and a bear, 2 tight ends in the ball game. Lynn Kane gets the call off the right side, and he'll pick up the first down. And now let's kind of update the standings and a look at the playoffs.
This is the East of the AFC. Miami has won it. The Jets 2nd, Buffalo 3rd. Then comes to New England and Baltimore. But it's going to be Miami will be playing in Miami the next Saturday on NBC, or next Sunday on NBC. It's 11:30. It's going to be the Bills at Shea Stadium against the Jets. Cincinnati 11-4, represented the Central Division.
Junior Miller, could he pull it in? No. They're going to rule it incomplete. Fans do not agree with the call. Glenn Cameron was there for Cincinnati.
He had an alley down there. He was open. Bartkowski trying to get the ball to his big tight end. Good protection by that offensive line, and he was able to step and throw. Ball is low. Gets his hands
Catchable.
on it. Now it hit the ground. Good call by the official. Good call by the official. And a good camera work because there was no doubt about that shot.
Well, when you work with the best, you expect that. 2nd down and 10. Bartkowski throws pressure. He'll be sacked. Reggie Williams got him. That will be the 2nd sack of the ballgame.
There is nothing like the feeling that a quarterback has when he is right-handed and he's looking downfield and somebody comes from his left side, which means nobody touched him over there. He did feel the pressure just at the last instant. and he was able to duck down. Otherwise, Reggie Williams might have taken his head off. He had a clean shot at it. That's when you want at least your offensive line to say, give you a lookout block. Say, look out. Oh,
here he comes. Third down and 18. The Falcons now pull the tight end. They'll go with 3 wide receivers. 4-man rush. Little game going on defensively. The pass is low, but caught by Wallace Francis. But he will come up about 3 yards short of the first down. A gain of 16 on the play.
They gotta go for it.
18. They may go for it. We'd like to welcome the viewers that have been watching the Baltimore-New England game. Here it is Cincinnati 24, Atlanta 7, with just over 4.5 minutes left to go in the half. Why not?
This is the time. Hey, you're not in it. You're out of it for the season. Let's go. Let's develop some sort of character on this football team. You can see by the reaction of fans what they think about this ball. Wonder what they're going to do if they don't make it.
5 on the pattern. Over the middle. It is caught by guess who? William Andrews. Boy, what a clutch player first down. Talk about a man that can do it all. That's a cliche. He can.
Yes, he can. And that's all they were looking for was that 3 yards and 3.5 yards because he went just beyond the line of scrimmage, turned around. Bartkowski was following him all the way. He was get him the football on a sure pass, get the first down, keep the drive alive. And I might add also, keep the fans on your side.
That's right. Cincinnati, 42-yard line. They needed 2. They got 5. First down. Bartkowski has protection. A little swing right side. A bit too quick for Andrews. Boy, he drills the short passes. You mentioned it earlier. He needs to develop a better touch, particularly on a cold day.
And there are certain ones that you have to take something off the ball, much like in baseball. Here it is. Pittsburgh got another field goal, but they still trail Houston 14-6 at the end of the second quarter.
Here it's Cincinnati 24, Atlanta 7. Second down and 10. 9th play of the drive. They started at the Atlanta 32. Now at the Cincinnati 32.
Oh, yes.
Alfred Jackson. Out of bounds, stops the clock. Flag is down. That is the 3rd flag of the half. Maybe on Lewis Breeden.
Yes, sir. I think he probably hit him when he was out of bounds. Really wasn't necessary. 34 is the man everybody's pointing the finger to. We'll let the officials do the calling. It is against Cincinnati. That was an excellent throw by Bartkowski, by the way. Put it right there, right on the money.
Picked up about 9.5 yards with a penalty. A first down. Fred Wyatt is the referee.
Give him 15 more.
Personal foul, late hit 34, first down.
Late hit on Lewis Breeden. Mark it at the 17.
Here it is, Bartkowski back in the pocket, and he releases this ball way before his receiver makes the final cut. Alfred Jackson takes it right on the sidelines. Now he's out of bounds. Lewis Breeden, if he doesn't know that, should know it. It's not necessary to give that extra shove.
There's a 6-foot white stripe that shows you you're out of bounds. First down, 17-yard line. Drilled over the middle. It is complete to Lynn Kay. 1-yard line. A gain of 16. It'll be first and goal to go. Brian Hicks saved the touchdown.
Charlie, I was talking there. Sometimes you take something off the football. This isn't one. 34, Lewis Breeden is the man the penalty was just called on. He is making the final stop on Kane prior to getting into the end zone. The other man that was back there was Brian Hicks, number 27. That time, Bartkowski drilled it, and he had to because he was throwing between a couple of defensive players.
Kane, 5 receptions, 44 yards, 2 tight ends as McKesker's in the ball game. First down goal to go. No signal. Andrews does not go in.
Boy,
now he does. They had to check underneath the body.
He flew into that.
That is the 11th touchdown for Andrews on the year.
There's nothing fancy about this. It's just a straight power drive by the fullback. Straight ahead blocking by the offensive line. Now he's going to hit in there as hard as he possibly can. It did look at this angle that he got in. 6 points for Atlanta. They're back in this ball game. That's William Andrews' 9th rushing touchdown on the year. His 11th overall.
Extra point attempt by Luckhurst. 68-yard drive in 11 plays, and it is good. And we have a 24-14 ball game. The Falcons pull within 10 with 2:28 left to go in the first half. We'll be back for the kickoff. It's cold and clear. There are a couple of fans who don't have both oars in the water at this ball game, I tell you. It's too cold for them. Mercer set for the return as Luckhurst kicks off. From the 2-yard line. Davis to the 15 and then wrapped up. Kenny Johnson, who has an interception for Atlanta, dropped him at about the 17-yard line.
There's a reason they call this the suicide squad, Charlie, because you just sacrifice your party. 45, Moriarty. Take a look at him. He's coming down. He is what they call somebody that, what did you say, with both oars in the water?
Right.
Coming
John Madden yesterday in the Giant game says his elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. Which is a great line.
The situation, sacrifice your body.
And what about the Giants and the Jets? They're in the playoffs. Incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver. The Jets, one of the great comebacks this year. They started, what were they, 0-3? And they were ready to run Walt Michaels right down Broadway and throw him into the East River. And now he'll be the toast of the town.
Well, they went that defense out.
And the Giants are in with the Green Bay loss.
The New York defensive line, the sack exchange, you know, they were trying to get rid of the team. Then they turn around and invite them from Wall Street, the New York Stock Exchange.
And it's been a long time since the Giants have been in the playoffs. Too long. We'll have encroachment or a false start as the flag comes down. Encroachment across the neutral zone, contact prior to the snap. False start, movement by an offensive lineman. It's one or the other. Cincinnati with 3 wide receivers in the ball game. Steve Kreider, Isaac Curtis, Chris Collinsworth. Pete Johnson, the remaining back. The conference will sort this out for us. We'll get the call from Fred White.
Haven't had much about
Encroachment, number 65.
The encroachment, okay. It's on Don Smith, number 6. Once he makes that contact prior to the ball being snapped, it's an automatic call. Conference is to make sure that there wasn't movement by an offensive lineman, because sometimes that can happen, and when that defensive lineman sees that movement, he'll go.
Did you notice the offensive center, Blair Bush, has looked around to see, now is he going to try to tear my quarterback's head off? What's...
Second down and 5. Anderson has pressure, and he is sacked. Don Smith got it.
The second sack for Atlanta on Cincinnati, and that time Mr. Smith was going to make up for that 5-yard penalty that he caused the Atlanta Falcons, because he just flew in there that time. Here it is, 65. Look what he's doing to the center. He takes it and stuffs it back in the quarterback's lap. That's Blair Bush. Gets a hold of Anderson, throws him to the ground.
2-minute warning. So we'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the last 2 minutes of the first half. Cincinnati leading by 10. This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. That's not Lynn Dawson. No, he wears number 16. He's my broadcasting partner. Cincinnati has the ball, 3rd down and 13. On their own 14-yard line. It's courtesy of the sack by Don Smith. 2 minutes left to go in the first half. The Bengals 24, the Falcons 14. Atlanta, this is their last game of the year. For Cincinnati, they will play again in 2 weeks. They will be at home, and if they win home, they'll be hosting a championship game. That's what's on the line for Cincinnati. Big advantage to be at home and not have to travel. Anderson just overthrowing everybody. It's Isaac Curtis. They had triple coverage on him. He threw it away.
He did. He didn't want to take the chance of being sacked by his goal line back there. Now Atlanta's in good shape. Relatively speaking, they're down by 10 points, but they're in a position now with 1:54 remaining in this first half. They're going to get the ball in good field position, so they need to get things going. They don't need a penalty on this punt. That's one thing that they have to concern themselves with.
And you want to watch the kicker. This is the return man, Scott Warner. Now, the kicker is Pat McAnally. His average is 45.9. Number one kicker in the National Football League, and one of the Pro Bowlers that we talked about in the tease of the game. And after all that, it's a terrible kick for him. Can't believe it. Takes it on the run at the 45. About a 10-yard return to the 35, and Atlanta's excellent field position. We'll take a timeout. 1:45 left to go in the first half. We'll be back in a moment. The announcement is furnished as a public service for the National Football League. Pat McAnally, number 87, he's hiding in the back. The average is 45.9 coming into the game, but that kick was only 31 yards with a 10-yard return.
Look at the difference. He's
more than 2
yards better. Skladaney, Detroit, and his guy is third. There's three outstanding punters.
And we shouldn't say anything about his kicking. Just let him go ahead and kick. All right. Bartkowski's 91 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Andrew heads for the sideline. That'll stop the clock. Louis Breeden was there for Cincinnati.
Cincinnati putting the heat on Bartkowski that time. They came with a linebacker trying to put pressure on him, and he didn't really want to go to Andrews. He wanted to look downfield, but he had to go to him because of the pressure. Here it is, 31 coming right at you, right at you. See, he's looking downfield. Now he's got to get rid of the football. See, it's easy to catch that ball if you look at it, follow it into your hands, plus the fact he jumps out of bounds.
Louis Breeden was there. Gain of 6, second down 4. 4 on the pattern. Sideline, flipping, then catching it. That is Alfred Action Jackson. He lost his footing and looked for a moment as if there would be an interception. The flag is down on the play. He picks up 25 yards, but let's see what the marker is about. He slipped and still made the catch. Louis Breeden had the cover. Glenn Cameron was also there, so it is against Cincinnati.
That is really concentration, Charlie, because he did slip. The ball was fired, a good strong throw by Bartkowski, but he did slip, made the reception, even turned it around and got down by the goal line. I thought he went in, but apparently he jumped out of bounds.
Face mask. First down.
We believe it is on. Get up here in the replay.
Here it is, Bartkowski going back and fires the ball out. Now you can see he came off his knee. He was down on the ground. Alfred Jenkins, number 85, gets knocked out. He got knocked out of bounds by number 50, Glenn Cameron, the linebacker. 1:28 remaining in the first half. They've got an excellent opportunity to score.
First down goal to go.
Going to throw it.
Has pressure for the backside, and his Riley catches it. Ken Riley blitzing for the right corner. Caught him.
One problem where he was that he didn't have that much room to run, but Riley saw that his back left. His back went in motion away from him, so he had no pass responsibility, so he was free to rush that quarterback, and that's what he did.
And we have a timeout.
And we also have a man down. I think it's Bartkowski.
Is it Bartkowski?
Yes.
Oh, no. He's had some rib problems.
Well, he's got a knee brace on. You can see right there, the right leg. The right knee has a knee brace on.
Mike Morosky is loosening up on the sideline, number 15. Is that a rib problem?
That's a rib, yes.
Oh.
A rib or a shoulder. He's walking fine, so it's the upper part of his body. Could be his wrist, could be his hip.
We'll get a report on it, of course. And as soon as we hear, we'll pass it on to you. Morosky in his third year from Cal Davis.
Here we see Riley, number 13, gaining on him, and he has no idea he was there. He tried to strip him of the ball. And now another hit coming in late. That's by Bobby Kemp, number 26. He greeted him on about the 2-yard line or 1-yard line.
Morosky, now the quarterback, activated for today's game. He had a broken collarbone in the second week of the season.
I look for Bartkowski to come back in the ball game. He has to stay out for one play so that they don't utilize the timeout.
Also look for William Andrews to carry here.
You got to look for him to score because that's what he did.
William Andrews. That is his second touchdown of the ball game. And now it's 24-20. Extra point to come. A 35-yard drive in 4 plays.
Here it is. Nothing fancy about this. You've got the guard pulling. Andrews going wide. He's got men blocking out in front. Walk into the end zone or stand upright in the end zone. Somebody did a good job of blocking. And that somebody was the offense of the Atlanta Falcons.
Left elbow. They're going in to x-ray it. Left elbow is the report on Steve Bartkowski. And as soon as they have the results of the x-rays, of course, we'll pass them on to you. Rutgers' extra point is good. So that makes it Cincinnati 24, Atlanta 21. 9 seconds left to go in what is becoming a very exciting ballgame.
We had a graphic up early about points scored by both Cincinnati and Atlanta. They're averaging around 29 points a game.
And they're well on their way to that average already.
Right now. Here we have 109 remaining in the first half. Already 45 points have been scored.
Another little sideline. The last 2 times William Andrews has carried the ball, he scored.
Well, maybe they should give it to him
more often.
Yeah. But he says, I like my chances from the 1-yard line in.
Rutgers will be kicking off.
Cincinnati's looking for the onside kick, but I don't know. They're not going to kick the ball onside, not with only 3-point difference. There it is, San Diego, followed by Atlanta and Cincinnati.
And that is updated. That is as of this moment. David Mercer set for the kickoff return.
Now that receiving team says, what do we do now?
Davis to the 10. Good return to the 26-yard line. Lyman White, the rookie from LSU, makes the tackle. So 26 yards in the return for Mercer, the rookie from Kansas. Cincinnati has a first down. Just over a minute left to go. Just run out the clock.
I would take a look and see what happened on this first down. They have their timeouts remaining, and if you're successful on this down, then you look to score, because this is a very explosive team. They got them all spread out wide. They got the defense spread out wide.
Cincinnati's been averaging almost 14 yards of first down.
What they did, they gave the ball to the fullback on a delayed play, hoping if he were to break it, then they would call a timeout. They've called 2 plays in a row right now. Whether they call a timeout after this play is determined on how well they do.
Anderson to throw, second down and 8, a gain of 2 on the first down. Ross, the tight end, has it. He does not go out of bounds to stop the clock. It'll be third down and around 37 seconds, so they do stop it.
Cincinnati called a timeout. 37 seconds remaining. They'll, I'm sure, put the ball up in the air once again on third down.
And for Dan Ross, the tight end, that was his first reception of the ball game. He has now 68 receptions on the year and is 4th in the NFL in receiving amongst tight ends.
People now know who Dan Ross is. Had an outstanding year for Cincinnati. You know, when you talk about tight ends, generally Kellen Winslow is the one name that pops up right away because, and it should be, because he's got over 1,000 yards once again this year.
And he'll have his work cut out tomorrow night. It is all up to the San Diego Chargers for that last spot. If San Diego defeats Oakland, champions of the West, they're in the playoffs. If San Diego loses, Denver is the champion of the West. They are then in the playoffs, joining Buffalo, the New York Jets, Miami, and Cincinnati.
Taking a look at the statistics on tight ends. 85 receptions. 85 for a tight end. Yes, San Diego can determine their own fate. And remember prior to the season, who did most people pick to be in a Super Bowl?
San Diego.
That's right.
They could still be there. One game if they win it, they're in the playoffs. 3 wide receivers. Over the middle, Isaac Curtis. Curtis to the 48-yard line, has the first down. They'll stop the clock now. 28 seconds left to go in the half. Bobby Butler and Tom Pridemore with the tackle.
Here it is. Looking at a zone defense, and Curtis is coming across the middle. Now he's in the middle of your screen just looking, and he slows down. He's got the open spot, so he slows down to let the quarterback find him. Now what he's trying to do is one of two things. He can't get out of bounds. He can see that, so he's going to try to cut back against the grain. But the one thing he did that was very good, put both arms around that football. See here, it's in motion. You'll see him coming across. He's just looking for an open spot. Looking around, you see the head move a little bit to see where the defensive men were. Find the open spot, make the catch.
That is his first reception. The rookie receiver, Chris Collinsworth, said that Isaac has really been helping him. One thing that he told him is that when you run a pattern, if you turn and look at the defender, you can freeze him and then make your move.
That's right, because the defensive man is looking. If he's in a zone, he's looking at the quarterback's eyes. That's why quarterbacks should look off. And he's looking at the eyes of the...
Anderson going deep, and he overthrows everybody.
Including the official down there, the striped shirt.
Steve Strider was the closest Bengal.
20 seconds remaining in the half. He did not have his man open, so he just threw the ball out of bounds. Timeouts remaining. Cincinnati has 1 timeout remaining. So they're still very much in a position where they could at least get a chance for a field goal, but they've got to get it downfield.
For Jim Breach, as long as it's 51 yards, that means he needs to get it to about the 34-yard line for that distance. There's no wind. It is cool, dropping around 30 degrees. And it will be even cooler in the second half. 2nd and 10.
Got everybody spread out. You can take a look at that picture. Defense is spread out. Pumping.
Incomplete.
Is the flag going? Yes, it is.
Pass interference. Isaac Curtis, the intended receiver. Now Richardson bumped him before the ball got there. The defender can go after the football, but you cannot drive through the man. That's the call.
He had the defense spread out. Number 85 is Isaac Curtis, making his move on the linebacker. Now he's coming across the middle. Here it is right there. That's what the flag is thrown for.
So spot the ball at the Atlanta 33-yard line.
He is pleading. He's saying, please, not me. Why me? Al Richardson, number 56.
Cincinnati with 12 seconds left to go in the half. In field goal range for Jim Breach by 1 yard.
They still have a timeout left. That penalty stopped the clock.
Collinsworth to the 11, maybe the 10-yard line. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Clock is stopped with 2 seconds left to go.
He's a rookie, Chris Collinsworth. You can take a look at the zone now. Look at the defensive players of Atlanta. They're just going back into the zone. They're 3 deep zone. Now he's just underneath the zone. He let the linebackers get some depth. He caught the ball underneath them. And once again, the tackling is poor for Atlanta. They let him get too much additional yards. And a good thing, too, about a veteran quarterback like Ken Anderson, he was right next to the referee. He's one that calls timeout. As soon as the play was down, he called timeout. 2 seconds remaining.
Jim Breach has hit for 45 yards out. Collinsworth, that was his 4th reception. He has 106 yards receiving in the first half.
Found out, too, that he has the ability to run with the football after he makes the catch.
An attempt of 29 yards. Steve Kreider to hold. It is good. Breach now 2 for 2 from 45 and 29 as the gun sounds. That is the score. Cincinnati 27 and Atlanta 21. The Falcons are playing for pride and an 8-8 record, 500 on the season. The Cincinnati Bengals, they are the champions of the Central Division, and they are playing for home field advantage in the playoffs. 27-21 at the half. Will be going away. Some of the stations, though, will be carrying an NBC News update on the Poland situation. Now this message from your local staff.
Well, I knew that both teams were very explosive football teams, and they're showing us that. I think what they're showing too, both teams are showing that they really are out here to play. They want to win this football game.
And it's fun to play like that, isn't it?
Well, I always enjoy putting that ball up in the air and putting some points on the board, but defensive coaches don't like to see it. But I think the fans love to see it.
Okay, so we have a halftime game, halftime score here of a 27-21. It is close, but it'll be an exciting second half just like it has been during the first half. So stay with us here for the second half of the Atlanta-Cincinnati game. This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by the front-wheel drive Lynx from Lincoln Mercury, by Natural Light, the beer with a taste for food, by Alcoa, producers of energy-saving aluminum, and by the Bell System Yellow Pages. The first step, let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System Yellow Pages. And now let's go to New York City and Bryant Gumbel.
Thank you, Charlie Jones. Since we're aware some of you may have had to break away for local news, try to get you caught up on the events of Sunday night regular season. In Chicago, the Bears may have dealt the Denver Broncos playoff hopes a death blow. The Bears beat them 35-24. The Broncos playoff hopes now in the hands of the San Diego Chargers. Tampa Bay Buccaneers went into Detroit today in the Silverdome, where the Lions were unbeaten this year, and beat the Lions 20-17 to win the NFC Central Division title. The Kansas City Chiefs and Minnesota Vikings closed out Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. Chiefs beat the Vikes 10-6. The Green Bay Packers playoff hopes are dead, and moving on to postseason play are the Jets and the Giants. That by virtue of the Jets win at Shea over the Packers final was 28-3. The Philadelphia Eagles earned their 10th victory of the year. They beat the St. Louis Cardinals to final there 38-0. And Baltimore Colts got their second win of the year, stopped the 14-game losing streak, beating the Patriots for the second time this year 23-21. San Francisco 21, New Orleans 17. The 49ers finished at 13-3. All those are finals. These games are still in progress. At the half, the one you're watching, it's 27-21 Cincinnati in front of Atlanta. 16-7 is the score in Anaheim. There, the Redskins are leading the Rams. It's Houston 14 and Pittsburgh 13 in the Astrodome in the third period. And in the third period in Seattle's Kingdome, it's Seattle 28 and the Browns 7. It's been a big Sunday of NFL action here on NBC, and when it's finally done, there's a lineup ahead on NBC that we think you'll enjoy, including at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Bob Hope's Christmas Special.
Hey, thanks, Brian. I just want to remind all the fans looking in that we have a marvelous lineup of guest stars joining us for our annual Christmas Special tonight at 8 on NBC. Lonnie Anderson from WKRP in Cincinnati is doing an outer space sketch with me, and wait till you see her skin-tight, beautiful metallic blue suit. Just send a lot of people to outer space. I may run the tour.
Good morning, Captain Smoot. How was your watch last night? Did you have any trouble staying awake?
No, I spent the night listening to my favorite radio station, WKRP in Uranus. And, of course, we have the charming and talented Andy Williams, who'll be bringing along his own special brand of holiday cheer. Andy and I sing a duet together where I play Andy's son. And you thought Twilight Zone was canceled, huh? Andy, then how come I'm your only child?
For the same reason no one ever bought two Edsels.
That's Bob Hope's Christmas Special tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Don't forget, next Sunday we'll start the playoff chase wild card game, Bills versus Jets, 11:30 Eastern Time. We've got a second half to come from Atlanta. We'll get to it after commercial break.
Okay, here we go. Ken Anderson on the left, and under the jacket, that is Mike Morosky, who has replaced Steve Bartkowski. Bartkowski report a bruised left elbow. Questionable if he will play in the second half. I think it's one of those situations where he could. Whether or not they want to play him is something else. But the x-rays were negative. That's the good news. And here's the statistics. Good news and bad news.
Well, yes, I think there's one play, though, if you recall, a 74-yard touchdown bomb from Ken Anderson to Chris Collinsworth accounted for 74 yards. And if you take that out of there, this ball game is a lot closer statistically.
Another interesting statistic, when you remove that on first down, 7.5 yards per first down play, which is in itself exceptional. Atlanta just under 4, 3.9.
6-point difference. It's one throw, and
That's right.
The scoreboard can change once again.
And it's a 27-21 ball game. And Atlanta scored their 21 points in the second quarter. They were scoreless in the first quarter. I think we have a microphone open somewhere. Did you notice that? A little extraneous crosstalk, as we say in the business.
Talks to his
It's also
parents.
known as a mistake. We say that in business, too. Okay. All right, we're set to go with the second half. What is on the line here for Cincinnati? If they win, they are assured of playing at home as long as they are in the playoffs until and if they make the Super Bowl, then they go to Detroit.
The second season will start next week.
Yes.
And that is the sudden death season.
And Sunday at 11:30, we'll start at Shea Stadium. The New York Jets hosting the Buffalo Bills. Cincinnati, Miami, they're already in the playoffs. Now it is up to San Diego and Oakland tomorrow night. The Chargers win, they're in the playoffs. Chargers lose, Denver's in the playoffs.
Well, it's needless to say who Denver is pulling for. And I think that's got to be tough for the Bronco fans to pull for the Raiders.
All right, here we go with the second half. That is called the mortar kick of Luckhurst. They like to kick it short, make him take it on the bounce. And speaking of bounces, David Mercer was really bounced on the rim.
Oh, he really nailed.
Was that Mercer or was that Archie Griffin? Because Griffin was hobbling there as he came up. Scott Warner hit him. There's Griffin limping off. Cincinnati on offense. Ken Anderson, Alexander Johnson, the running back. Collins with Curtis and Ross to the receivers. The offensive line, Munoz, Lappin, Bush, Montoya, and Wilson. Anderson rolls, throws, pass is complete. Dan Ross, the tight end, that is his second reception of the ball game. And he picks up close to 20 yards on the play. Give him 18 to be exact. Before Fulton Kuykendall, Kenny Johnson stopping for the defense. Speaking of the defense, Yates, Smith, Mara. That's the front three. Richardson, Kuykendall, Curry. Joe Williams is incorrect. He's on injured reserve. I'm surprised we haven't changed that. That is Jim Laughlin replacing him. Butler, Johnson, Glazebrook, and Clyde Moore in the secondary.
I like that last play that Cincinnati, they ran that rollout. They had three receivers for Anderson to choose from.
Anderson comes out fine. And running. Pump fake. Slips the tackle. Get down, Kenny. 45-yard line. Gains 3. Second down and 7. Don Smith is the man who stopped him. Really, the presence of Don Smith was enough to stop him. Cincinnati 27, Atlanta 21. We're a minute 15 into the second half. The sun has now set here in the capital city.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about Anderson in the ball game and running with the football with them assured in the playoffs. Sacrifice, to survive on that last play. Plus, when I talked to him before the game and he saw how cold it was, he said, this sure isn't doing my toe any good. He does have an injured toe.
Second down and 7. Pete Johnson gets the call. Al Richardson makes the tackle. They'll spot it around the 47, so he has 2. It'll be third down and 5.
And the situation, they'll put the ball back up in the air.
Rushing defense, not that good for Atlanta. Johnson has only 13 yards rushing and 3 carries for Cincinnati.
Latest report that I have, Charlie, is that Steve Bartkowski is not expected to return.
That's a good decision. Isaac Curtis in motion. Isaac's over the middle. And the throw is over the head of Isaac Curtis. Buddy Curry was there for the defense. It will be fourth down. And that means that Pat McAnally will be kicking, and I will not say a word about what he's done this year. Second time that he's kicked. First time we told you all those great things about him, and he booted at 31 yards.
Put the hex on him.
Scott Warner is set for the return at the 10-yard line. He is a rookie from Georgia and was the NCAA leading punt returner a year ago. He hasn't had that good a year returning in the NFL. That doesn't mean he's not that good.
Got 10 men up on that line of scrimmage. Here they come.
They go for the block. Oh, they put a lot of pressure on him. Flag will go down. Cincinnati will have the football. The return is optional. It will be a penalty for running into the kicker. That boot, by the way, covered 37 yards with 6 yards on the return.
And
it will carry an automatic first down.
McAnally is hobbling off the field because they did catch. Oh, he looks like he's all right now, but he was hobbling originally. They had 10 men on the line of scrimmage. They were going for it, trying to get the block, trying to get the big break and turn this ball game around. McAnally, he saw them coming. He got rid of it as quickly as he can, but you're going to see some players roll up into him right there. Now he's looking around for, oh, there he is. I knew he'd be looking around for the referee. So give it to me. But the referee had a difficult time getting the flag out of his pocket because it's so cold down there.
Call on Tom Moriarty. Defensive foul with 5 exceptions, automatic first down. Exceptions are offsides, encroachment, delay of game, illegal substitution, excessive timeout. Ball at the Atlanta 48, first down. Alexander and Johnson are the running back. A little delay by Anderson and gives to Charles Alexander. Close to the 45. He'll have about 3. He'll be second and 7 as Buddy Curry and Don Smith make the tackle.
That time the defense read it very well for the Atlanta Falcons. They were there to meet the charge of the offensive lineman, stopping it for about a 2-yard gain.
Is there a lot of, when the referee had a problem a moment ago getting the flag out of his pocket, is there a lot of talking between the officials and the players? We were talking about this at dinner last night.
Well, they seem to be conferring more and more this year. Now he's got it there. He's got 3/4 out.
6 men in the secondary. We'll come back to that conversation. Pete Johnson gets the call. Close to the 40-yard line. So it'll be third down and a couple. Buddy Curry with the tackle. My impression is that there was more talk between the players and the officials, say 10, 12 years ago than we have now.
There was. I know that before the 30-second clock, the referee who stand behind the huddle, he'd come up and say, Len, you're getting awfully close to taking too much time. Get him in, get him out of the huddle a little quicker. Give you advice like that. Or a receiver would go out, and he'd look out to the side, and he'd say to the linesman, am I all right? Meaning, am I offside? Am I in the right position? He'll say, yeah, you're fine. Today, they got to have a conference out there sometimes.
Third down and 2. Anderson's pass is complete. Dan Ross, and a flag goes down at the 29. Ross goes down about the 26. Fulton Kuykendall makes the tackle. Preliminary signal, it is against Cincinnati. Offensive pass interference. So they'll bring it back. That would have been a first down.
Forrest Gregg doesn't seem to agree. We're talking about officials talking. They did their talking with the yellow flag that time. And now they're going to explain to us what happened.
On David Verser.
Explain to David, you're supposed to go around those people, not try to go over them.
It'll be third down and 12. The ball placed at the midfield stripe. Penalty yardage, 57 to 30. Cincinnati in front by 6, 27-21. 3 wide receivers are in. Everybody is covered deep, and Pete Johnson drops the ball in the left flat. Kenny Johnson was there for Atlanta. It will be fourth down and 12, and you have a kicking situation. And so that means that number 87, Pat McAnally, will try it again. This is third time that he has kicked, although the last time there was a foul for running into the kicker.
1 for 31. Well, fortunately for McAnally, 1 punt a season does not make, because he has had a tremendous year. And one of the great things about him is his hang time. He's got an average coming in this game of almost 46. There's another bad one.
Warner, though, will let it roll dead at about the 17-yard line. So it turns out to be a pretty good kick. The Falcons do not have good field position, but we have a timeout at Cincinnati 27. Atlanta 21. We'll be back with Atlanta on offense in just a moment. This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. Mike Morosky will now be the quarterback for Atlanta. What change will this cause as far as the offense is concerned?
Well, I think they'll try to steady him down and maybe run the ball. And they've got some excellent backs to give the ball to in Kane and Andrews. Before they start, by the way, Charlie, I love your hat.
Thank you.
Little cap, that's nice.
Well, it's cold in Atlanta.
It's hot in Seattle because Seattle's leading Cleveland 42-7.
Rusty, Andrews, and Kane. That is the offensive backfield. They stay on the ground with Andrews. That's the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. As far as the receivers are concerned, they're excellent. Francis Jenkins, Junior Miller, the tight end. You'll also see Alfred Jackson in there as the third wide receiver. And that offensive line of Ken Scott, Van Note, Thielman, and Bryan.
Might add once again, 3 of those offensive linemen are going to the Pro Bowl. Ken, Thielman, and Van Note.
2nd and 10. Over the middle, a little high, but is pulled down by Junior Miller at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a couple, a gain of 8. Bo Harris with the tackle. Now defensively, St. Clair, Whitley, and Browner, the front three. Of course, this situation substitution, but the basics set: Harris, LeClaire, Cameron, and Williams, the linebackers. Reed and Riley, Kemp, and Hicks in the secondary. That is the first reception for Junior Miller. And now Russ McKeska, the other tight end, joins him in the short yardage situation. 3rd down and 2. James Mayberry also comes in. He's in as a blocker. Andrews is out of bounds short of the 1st down. Jim LeClaire was over there with him as we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
WRC-TV, Channel 4, Washington, D.C.
This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. The score here in Atlanta: Cincinnati 27, Atlanta 21. With just over 9 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter, as John James will be kicking to Mike Fuller. And Cincinnati could have excellent field position. Good kick if it turns over. Fair catch is called for and taken about the 42-yard line. So we've got a timeout following that 34-yard kick and the fair catch. It is Cincinnati 27, Atlanta 21. We'll be back with the Bengals on offense. Pro Bowler, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, number 80, Chris Collinsworth of Florida. There you see him at the top of the screen. Has 100. Now we have it 108 yards, so we're 2 yards either way on it. But he needs only 11 more yards receiving to go over the 1,000-yard mark in this his rookie season. On the reverse.
Gonna throw it.
Ryder throws it. He goes to the tight end, Dan Ross, and it'll be a 1st down as Pridemore and Curry make the tackle. Now, one of the things that Cincinnati is doing, they're dusting off a lot of plays. That one picked up 13 yards. But what happens, and you know, because you
I know what's happening. Here you're seeing right here. It's the old flanker reverse pass, and you know, right? He did get it to Dan Ross, the tight end, though. What Charlie's alluding to is this: that the team that they're going to be playing is going to be viewing this game here in person. Somebody scout, and they're going to be looking at film. They're going to see all this, so they're going to have to get their defense prepared for all of it, which means that they're not going to spend as much time on doing the things that Cincinnati like to do.
Fake on a pitch out, and it's incomplete. Anderson almost got decked in the backfield. Ross, the intended receiver, Al Richardson, was there. All right, now let's update what's going on around the NFL. Let's go to New York.
Okay, Charlie, down in the Dome, the Steelers are looking for their 10th straight winning season. They're having a tough time putting the Oilers away, but Mark Malone scores here on a 2-yard run, and a few fisticuffs break out. But it's 20-14, Steelers in the 3rd. Charlie?
Thank you, Byron. Appreciate that update. It is now 2nd down and 10. The ball at the Atlanta 45-yard line. Just over 8 minutes left to go. We're in the 3rd quarter. Cincinnati leading by 6. Pete Johnson gets the call, and he moves to the 39-yard line. Gain of 6. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Jeff Yates makes the tackle. Anderson checking the sidelines for the signals on the next play. There's the sideline. I always wonder when they look over there and the sideline, they just look back at you.
Yeah, I know. What about when they turn their back on you? The Rams are having their problems once again. Washington leading 23-7 in the 3rd quarter. Seattle 42, the Cleveland Browns 7 in the 3rd quarter.
3rd down and 4. Little play action. Pass is complete. Tight end, Dan Ross. Ross keeps roaming. 22-yard line. Gain of 17. Now, earlier Lynn Dawson talked with Ken Anderson, comparing this year to last year.
Well, I think number one for me, I'm healthy this year, which makes a big difference. And number two, our offensive line has given me a lot of time to throw. And number three, it's our 2nd year into the Forrest Gregg system, which I think makes a big difference.
Like the mustache.
I think he said something very important. His Forrest Gregg is in his 2nd season there.
That does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yes.
It takes a while to get used to, you know, Different offensive terminology. Three wide receivers are in. Johnson gets the call in a yard to the 21. It'll be second down and 9. The offensive philosophy, that was the word that I was looking for, because there is a change, and as a quarterback, you had to make mental adjustments.
The thing that has to be done is the players have to be sold on what you're trying to do.
That's true in any business, but go ahead.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Forrest Gregg has been able to do that, and he's got the players believing in what they're doing. And I look at Ken Anderson and how he's moving out there and throwing, and the type of wide open offense that they have.
6 men in the secondary. Collinsworth and Verser, the wide receivers. This was dropped by Pete Johnson on the screen left side.
Trying to fight the ball, wasn't he? Instead of just letting the ball come into his hands and cradling and catching it, he's up there fighting and jumping around with it.
Have to go with the flow.
Looked like he's a defensive player batting the ball down.
So it'll be third down and 9 at the 21. This will be the 7th play of the offensive drive. Bengals have converted 3 of 7 third down opportunities. And they are within Jim Breach's field goal range. He has hit twice from the 45 and 29. Ryder comes in, now 3 wide receivers. Third and 9. No good. Short hopped it. Earl Jones has the coverage, and Jim Breach will come in with a field goal attempt upcoming. Breach has now hit on the year 21 of 30. 2 of 2 in the game from 45 yards away and 29 yards away. This will be an attempt of about 40 yards. Let's see where he sets it up. He'll set it up at the 30, so that means it's 40 yards away. He may set up at the 29. Way to go, Jimmy's right in between.
It's a big play, a 6-point lead right now. This is a big play for Cincinnati.
Let's call it from the 29. An attempt of 39 yards. And it is no good. It is no good from 39 yards away. So Atlanta will take over. They trail by only 6. With 5:36 left to go in the third. We'll be back in a moment. It's 27-21.
Out in the Pacific Northwest, the Browns have turned the ball over 8 times, but here, the hookup for a score. McDonald to Logan, 16 yards, but the Browns still trail 42-14 in the third quarter. Let's go back to Charlie Jones.
Thank you, Byron Day. I guess Bryant is taking his usual rest that he takes in the third quarter, so they put you to work. Glad you're with us, though. Roski, the quarterback, he's completed the only pass that he has thrown in the second half. That's to Junior Miller. Barkowski has a bruised left elbow, will not return. This one is incomplete to William Andrews from the Atlanta 22, so it'll be second down and 10. Glenn Cameron was there for the defense.
One of the things I said about this young man, they probably would like to get the ball in running. Here's Washington leading Los Angeles 30-7. That's fourth quarter. They'd like to get him steady, because that time he had his man open. He just didn't get the football. Andrews out in the flat.
And Andrews needs only 15 yards, either rushing or receiving or combined yardage, to become only the 5th man in NFL history to reach the 2,000-yard mark of combined yardage in 1 year. Almost intercepted. But he couldn't pull it down. Lynn Kane, the intended receiver. Moravsky got decked after he let the pass go.
Well, the blitz was on, and that's the thing to do with a young quarterback who hasn't had that much playing experience. Put the heat on him. Send those linebackers after him. Make him get rid of that football before he wants to. That time, Atlanta is very fortunate that Cincinnati did not come up with the interception.
Now, Moravsky, the quarterback, 6'4", 200 pounds, third year, taken in the 6th round of the draft in '79. Activated for this game. He was out with a broken collarbone second week of the season. Prior to this game, had completed only 1 of 3 passes. He's thrown the ball only 3 times, had suffered an interception. That is the quarterback. Now he scrambles, gets 1 tackle, slides down around the 25. Reggie Williams is there to cover him. Give him about 3 yards on the play. And that means that John James will be kicking. That is Bartkowski in the flight jacket. Roski is replacement on the right. He's wearing number 15. Mike Fuller set for the return. Oh, this is a good one. Great hang time. And takes an Atlanta roll. It'll be down to about the 13-yard line. Total distance on that kick will be 62 yards. We've got a timeout. It's a 27-21 ball game. It's Cincinnati 27, Atlanta 21. The Bengals with the ball on their own 13-yard line. ML Harris is the tight end. He scored a touchdown in the ball game. Collinsworth and Purser are the wide receivers. Second back through is Charles Alexander. Now, as you know, Paul Brown is the head of the Bengal organization. There he is. He's my golfing partner in La Jolla, your former coach. And earlier, Lynn Dawson had a chance to visit with him about why the Bengals are better this year than they were a year ago.
Well, Forrest Gregg's been around 2 years now, and chance for the staff, players to get to know him. He's the man's man, swell leadership. He's surrounded by good people. Actually, I thought our turnaround started last year when we were 6-10. We could have won some games that we lost.
With Paul in the booth, that's John Sawyer. Pete Johnson to about the 21-yard line. So it'll be third down and a couple as Jeff Yates makes the tackle. Clock moving now with 3:44 counted. How was Paul Brown as a coach when you were playing for him?
He's a great coach.
We know that, yeah, but...
Well, I think that he was the innovator of so many things that are done today. For example, his assistant coaches were on the employ 12 months of the year. It used to be like baseball. And in football, the coaches would be there during the season, then they would leave and then come back in training camp the next year. There's just a lot of things that Paul Brown brought into pro football as much as prior to him coming into it.
They're down in 2, and the Falcons at L. Charles Alexander gets the call, and they all greet him at the line of scrimmage. And so Pat McAnally will come in to kick.
Something has ignited that Atlanta team. Something had to be said on the sidelines. They said, hey, let's get our act together. Alexander coming up, but he is greeted by about 4 or 5 of the men in the red shirts. The Atlanta Falcons, and they finally stopped Cincinnati's offensive attack.
Fourth down and 2. Fewest first downs allowed in the National Football League. Now that's a McAnally kick. Scott Warner has a problem picking up the football. Then he slipped a tackle and is dropped around the 36-yard line. 43 yards on that punt. Guy Frazier makes the tackle. We've got a timeout. Paul Brown's ball club has the lead. Here's a sign that expresses local sentiment.
Yes, but it does not change the record.
All we want for Christmas is to get that officer out of the way so I can read the sign. Oh, it's a wild card spot. Well, that sign went down the tubes yesterday. Here we go. Atlanta from their own 36-yard line. First down. William Andrews gets the call. He may get a yard, but if he does, that'll be just about all that they'll give it.
They've shut him down here, haven't they?
They've really done a good job on him. Wilson Whitley with the tackle.
Bartkowski leaving the ball game has had an effect offensively on Atlanta's football team.
In case you joined us late in the waning moments of the first half, he came down with a bruised left elbow. There he is in the flight jacket. He was caught from behind by Ken Riley, just short of the first down. William Andrews, 14 yards to go, combined yardage. And if he picks up about 3, about 11 to go. Now, we've talked about that. The men that he will be joining if he makes the 2,000-yard mark. O.J. Simpson, Jim Brown, Walter Payton, and Wilbert Montgomery. It's a nice group to be associated with.
Well, you're talking about people that can do a lot of things, and that man there can do a great number of things. O.J. did it twice. Jim Brown, considered by a whole bunch of folks as maybe the best runner to ever put his cleats on. I'd have to be in that category also.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing that still amazed me about Jim Brown in 2 years that I was with the Browns, he was never in the training room once in 2 years. Andrews going to get some more yards.
Just one, maybe two. Well, he's going to have to work the rest of the afternoon.
Was a terrible pass. He had to do an acrobatic act to even get a hold of the football.
Reggie Williams makes the tackle.
Here it is. William Andrews, number 31. Now if a linebacker came, he'd have to block him. It didn't come, so now he's going out. But look how he has to go up. It should have been an easy any velocity at his numbers. He'd have been able to catch that ball and turn and go and probably had a good chance of picking up the first down.
Here's the kick to Mike Fuller. Takes it at the 20. Wishes that he hadn't. Has about a yard. 40-yard kick. 15 seconds left to go in the third quarter. One ball game. We have had no scoring in the third quarter, but now the clock is stopped on the change of possession. Here's a look at the standings.
All right, Cincinnati is in it, 11-4. Miami's in it. The Jets are in it. Buffalo is in it. Now the question is it going to be Denver or San Diego? San Diego, if they defeat Oakland tomorrow night, will be in the playoffs as the winner of the AFC West. But you take a look at the Eastern Division of the AFC, the two wildcard teams, Buffalo and the Jets, came from that division.
Are you ready for this? I'm going to that game tomorrow night with our friends the Braves. I'm going to sit in the stands. I won't know what to do.
Sit up there boo like the rest of them.
They always bring a television set so we watch the replays so we don't miss anything.
He's
Chris
close
Collinsworth.
to
Yes,
1,000. I don't know how many yards he got, but
with that play, we come to the end of the third quarter, and we will check out his statistics. The numbers are 27-21. The Bengals on top. We'll be back with the fourth quarter in just a moment.
20.
Chris Collinsworth, 1,009 yards this year, 67 receptions, including one in this ball game, 5 receptions and 128 yards here today. Boy, what a youngster he is.
Who was the last rookie to do that? Was it J.J.?
I believe so.
J.J. Jefferson.
David Mercer. Morris Gregg, the head coach of Cincinnati. Lynn talked to him earlier about the home field advantage.
Well, I think one thing you don't have to travel. You work out in the same weather that you're going to play in. You're going to be in familiar surroundings. When you go to the stadium, the people are going to be cheering for you instead of the opponent.
The not traveling and the cheering, those are very important factors. Second down, a little over 3 to go. Archie Griffin, who was limping earlier, he's okay. He carries. Al Richardson makes the tackle. It'll be short of the first down marker, so it'll be third down and a couple.
I think playing in Cincinnati with the river down there and with the wind the way it whips around and the weather, you got to assume it's going to be rather cool.
Yes.
When they play the game in 2 weeks. It's going to be really a big advantage for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Now, if they win today and they win in 2 weeks, that means they will host the championship game. That's what's on the line for Cincinnati here. Third down and 2. The Bengals lead by 6. Flags on the play. Atlanta was offside. Glazebrook makes the tackle as Steve Kreider is stopped at the 50.
I was talking about playing in Cincinnati. I'm sure they're happy they aren't there today. For the folks in Cincinnati, they know how cold it is. It's about, what, 4 degrees, I think.
4?
4.
1, 2, 3,
1, 2,
4.
3, 4, yes. Being from La Jolla, you can't understand that.
Right.
California.
74 is the kind of numbers we like. Atlanta was offside. The penalty will...
Offside, number 56.
Give them a first down. Al Richardson offside. The first down at the 46.
First down, 1981. San Diego. As everybody knows about that Air Coryell.
Oh, yeah.
Express down there. Cincinnati, but I think the big thing is Cincinnati this year compared to last year.
Pete Johnson, right side. Max Montoya was the convoy out in front, the pulling guard. A couple of yards shy of the first down. He'll pick up about 8. Buddy Curry with the tackle. The Bengals third in points scored this year, next to last in the NFL last year.
That's the thing that has been so amazing about this Cincinnati team, the way that they have turned things around. That this year they're among the leaders offensively, and they're doing a very good job with their defensive unit. Last year they were down at the bottom.
Different statistics, individual statistics. The important one, point score. Pete Johnson gets the call, picks up the first down. Needed 2. He got about 4. Von Blaisbrook, the strong safety, makes the tackle. Moving on the 13-minute mark of time remaining in the ball game. No scoring in the second half. It was 27-21 at halftime. That's the score now. Cincinnati out in front 10-0 first quarter. And then the Falcons scored 21 points in the second quarter. Bengals added 17 to make it 27-21. First downs in the second half for Cincinnati. That was their 6th. The Falcons have not picked up a first down in the second half. But remember, their starting quarterback, Steve Bartkowski, having a fine year, out with an injured elbow. Mercer, the intended receiver.
But he didn't know it, though, Charlie. He was running downfield. Anderson had to get rid of the football, and he threw it in the area where Mercer was, but Mercer put an additional move on the defensive back. He didn't know that the ball was even thrown.
So it'll be second down and 10. Anderson completing 16 of 30, 277 yards, 2 touchdown passes. A total of 29 on the year. In the flight jacket, that is the starting quarterback, Steve Bartkowski. 6 men in the secondary now for Atlanta. Anderson has broken almost every club record, including most of his own this season.
Well, if he breaks a record, it's his own.
May have been past the line of scrimmage. They may call him for throwing
on the far side of the field.
Mercer, the intended receiver. Geisen was there in the secondary. That's it. He was past the line of scrimmage. Signal from Fred Wyant, the referee.
He did have an opportunity to have some yardage, but he wants to be at he avoids the linebacker. Now you can see right there he's moving on down. He does fire the ball.
Quarterback,
both receivers in the same area. Collinsworth at 81 is Mercer, 80 is Collinsworth. Now they see their quarterback scrambling, just looking for an open spot. They both happen to go to the same spot, and they hit Mercer right in the numbers. But
Blaine Geisen was in that same spot too for the defense.
Beyond the line.
It's also a loss of down penalty. So it is third down. 50. This one is on target to Steve Kreider. 21-yard line.
They haven't covered that pattern going across the middle all afternoon. Now that it's dark, I should say in the evening also. But the receivers have been open coming across that across the middle all afternoon.
A pickup of 18 and a first down.
1981 completion percentage. Now, he's always been an outstanding quarterback as far as the number of passes that he's completed. 63.4. Joe Montana.
Greg Morton.
Another youngster.
Yes.
He's had a great year. Of course, he's paid for it. They beat up on poor old Greg it seems like every game.
Archie Griffin. Archie just squirming through.
Legs got new life in this ball game today. He's broken several tackles. It's either his fine running or the inability of the Atlanta Falcons to do any tackling. Blair Bush, the offensive center, provided some space for Archie to go through. He's only rushed twice for 26 yards. 3 times, for 26 yards.
Spotted at about the 13-yard line. It'll be second down and 2. Moving on the 11-minute mark of time remaining in this game as Cincinnati is moving on the end zone.
Got the first. Pete Johnson, straight up the middle. They're in excellent position right now. They're inside the 10-yard line. 10:50 and counting down in this football game, and they're enjoying a 6-point lead. Any points right now for Cincinnati would be very big, because that would force Atlanta to score twice.
That's what they want to do.
They want a touchdown, but they want something. A touchdown would mean that Atlanta would have to score 2 touchdowns. A field goal, they would have to score twice, and one of them would have to be a TD. Oh, look at that surge by the offensive line.
Again. Prior to that play, he had 50 yards rushing, so that'll bring his total up to the 56 or 57-yard mark, behind Dave Lapham and Blair Bush, as Jeff Yates made the tackle along with Buddy Curry.
Total offense: San Diego, Dallas, Minnesota, Detroit, and then Cincinnati. 369 yards per game. That's what they are averaging.
A win here for Cincinnati. Their record would be 12-4, the best in the AFC. 2-yard line. Second down, goal to go. No signal from the official.
I think he might be a little short. Third down. The official just gave the signal.
Don Smith was there to stop Pete Johnson. Pete has had an excellent year.
Oh, he's had a great year. Rushing and also receiving. Over 1,000 yards.
First time in his career that he's been over 1,000 yards. He scored 16 touchdowns. If he scores here, it would be a 17. I like that.
You like that?
Very quick, very quick.
I can see you majored in mathematics. In one of those schools that you went to.
I was at so many of Sergeant. I just kept changing. Third down, goal to go. Defense is there for Atlanta. Alexander is stopped. May lose a yard. They'll go for the field goal attempt. Jim Breach comes on. He's hit 2 of 3.
On this one, and they really got great penetration from the outside.
Boy, there were some bodies thrown in there. Was that Bob Glazebrook?
Yes, I think it was from the outside. They were disregarding anything wide or any play action pass. They were jamming up the inside to stop that, and they did it.
From 20 yards away. It is good. Jim Breach now has hit 3 of 4. And Cincinnati leads by 9, 30-21. We'll be back with the kickoff.
Here is the importance of the holder. Steve Kreider, 86 at the holder. It's a high snap. He gets it down for his kicker. A good hold. You might take into consideration, too, Charlie, that Chris Collinsworth was the holder, but he was playing so much and catching so many passes, they put Kreider back there.
Here's Reggie Smith on the return. Around the 27, 28-yard line where Glenn Cameron makes the tackle along with Guy Frazier on the specialty team. Reggie Smith now 6 kickoff returns for 129 yards. And so Atlanta will go to work. They have been stuttering. Their offense has been stuttering in the second half. See if they can clean it up. Mark it at the 29-yard line. Join us on January the 1st, and we will talk about that right after this play. Oh, what a lineup of bowl games we do have. And you and I get to start it off in Phoenix with the Fiesta Bowl. Andrews. 34-yard line. He'll have 5. It'll be second down 5. Rod Horn makes the tackle. Now let's talk about January the 1st.
Tell me about January.
January 1st, well, we'll be at the Fiesta Bowl. USC and the Heisman Trophy. Rated number 7th, and Penn State. Joe Paterno will be there. When they played Pitt, they're so good they didn't even show up for the first quarter. And the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. That's always a great one. Dick and Merlin will be there. And then John and Don will be at the Orange Bowl as Clemson and Nebraska will battle for number 1. Yes. Junior Miller in and out of his hands. That was very catchable, as the fan reaction would tell you.
That was a good throw by that young quarterback, and hit him. He took his time, and he waited till he made the break, and he was in the clear and hit him with the pass, and he just didn't come up with a football. Who knows? If he had caught that one, as good a runner as he is, he might have broken a tackle and been down the other side into the end zone.
Second half possession. Look at that.
17-17 for the Bengals.
Falcons haven't had the ball. And when they've had it, one of the reasons is that they haven't been able to move offensively. Now they get something going. William Andrews. Now he needed 11 yards.
He got it.
Did he get it?
He got it. Give it to him.
He got 20, so he is over the 2,000-yard mark. That's what the congratulations.
Oh, they wanted him to get it.
2,000 yards. That's combined yardage, rushing and receiving. Only the 5th man in NFL history.
Now get him out of the game so he won't lose that. I'd say that. There it is. Jim Brown, O.J., Walter Payton, Wilbert Montgomery, and now add the name of William Andrews. 1981, over 2,000 total yards.
Pass is low.
He was wide open, too. Alfred Jenkins was down there, was in the open spot. Young quarterback could not get it to.
Now, explain that, what you said, get him out.
The reason I said that take him out of the game, the last time I played in Atlanta, it's either 1973 or 74, Dave Hampton, an outstanding running back, gained on a play near the goal line, and he got 1,000 yards. So they stopped the game. They gave him the game ball, and he took it off the sidelines, and he kissed the ball, and everybody congratulated. The next play, they gave the ball on a sweep. He lost 5 yards, and he ended up with less than 1,000 yards.
He never got the ball again.
He had to give the ball up.
They gave it, took the ball away. No, I don't know if they did it. Incomplete. Lynn Kane, the intended receiver, and he was decked by Glenn Cameron, number 50. Boy, he lowered the boom on it. Woo. 3rd down and 10.
I believe Dave Hampton eventually got his 1,000-yard season, but I felt so sorry for him. I mean, he got the 1,000 yards. This was the last game of the year, and it didn't mean anything for either team.
Who made the tackle?
I think it was Jim Lynch. I think it was a sweep to the left, and Jim Lynch jumped through and avoided the block and tackled him 5 or 6 yards deep. I don't know whether it was him or not, but I'll give him a call. All right.
Delay of game, violation of the 30-second rule. First time we've had that. We have 6 minutes and 20 seconds left to go here. Cincinnati leading by 9, 30-21.
That makes it a little tougher when you go back now. 3rd down situation. Of course, they're looking at 2 downs to pick up the 1st down. You've got 6:20 remaining, and you've got to score twice, and one of those scores has to be a touchdown.
In the wild card situation, the New York Giants and the Eagles will be the wild cards in the NFC East. Buffalo and the New York Jets, the wild cards in the AFC East. Incomplete.
And his man open once again, but couldn't get him the football.
Junior Miller, the intended receiver. Bo Harris was there. Now let's go to New York City.
Okay, Charlie. Up in the Dome, the Pacific Northwest Calvin Hill may have scored his last touchdown of his professional career, but it's not nearly enough. It's 42-21. Seahawks over the Browns in the 4th quarter. Charlie?
Thank you, Byron. Congratulations to Calvin Hill. Nice way to go out. Boy, what a nice gentleman he is, too.
Yes, he is. What an outstanding player he's been. Off the
ball. It's dropped. Paul Davis, who is a backup linebacker. John James, the punter, throwing. He had to check in, wearing an illegal number, tell the officials, line up outside. And he dropped it. Oh, no.
Here it is. Might be one of the better passes thrown this half. Floats it right to him. He's thinking about, look at where it hit him. My goodness.
Hit him right in the hand. We've got a timeout. And Cincinnati has the lead with just over 6 minutes to go here in Atlanta. We'll be back. Throw a perfect pass. And he drops it. That's the reaction.
I think that you can maybe, that exemplifies the way things have gone for the Atlanta Falcons all year long. They've just been so close.
They've lost 6 ball games by a total of 17 points. Going deep and incomplete to Collinsworth. Kenny Johnson has the coverage.
What's this?
What? Now that's the way to bundle up. That's John James.
Yeah, he's
the passer.
I threw it right on the money.
Yeah. No, now he's the kicker, right?
Yeah.
So he's got his foot for him, and now he's the passer, so he's got his head for him.
Keep his head.
Flag was down. It'll be a holding penalty.
Got some finals. Washington defeating Los Angeles 30-7. Dismal season.
Holding, number 46.
Fourth quarter, 42-21.
Holding penalty. It'll be first down and 20. Tim Cambius, Rick Baker, our spotters, Joel Alderman and Boyd Odom in the booth with us. And of course, Joe Costanza flying in from the Miami game. His usual excellent job. Thank you. Pete Johnson. He'll get 10 yards back. And it will be second down and 10. Don Smith makes the tackle. Now let's run down all of the scores, man.
All right, Chicago defeated Denver 35-24.
That means that Chicago wins the West of the AFC.
Tampa Bay downing Detroit 20-17. They win the NFC Central Division. Kansas City defeating Minnesota 10-6. The Jets over the Packers 28-3. They'll be in a wild card game at Shea Stadium 11:30, and you can see it right here on NBC.
They'll be hosting Buffalo. Buffalo losing to Miami yesterday. Miami in the playoffs, of course. We had some movement on that offensive line. It'll be a false start against Cincinnati. Now let's go back to the scoreboard.
Philadelphia shutting out St. Louis 38-0. Philadelphia is a wild card team. They'll be playing
False start.
Giants. Baltimore in the game for Baltimore in the game for the first round draft choice defeated New England 23-21. San Francisco.
False start, number 77.
49ers came from behind to defeat New Orleans 21-17. Of course,
They've got
they
the best
won the
record in
NFC
NFL.
West. Yeah.
Right. Boy, they're a good ball club.
I'm thinking right now that number 14 should be leaving this game pretty soon. I'm talking about Ken Anderson. 5:14 remaining in the football game. They've got a 9-point lead. They don't want to take a chance on him getting hurt. Over the middle, wide open once again.
Steve Kreider has the reception. Bob Glazebrook, he's had a workout. The strong safety makes the tackle.
That pattern has been wide open all day. In the fourth quarter, the Steelers have come from behind. They are now leading Houston 20-14. It's funny not to see either one of those teams involved in the playoffs, Pittsburgh or Houston.
The reason you're looking at it right there,
That's
Ken
right.
Anderson. Oh, they tore the Central Division apart.
And he's such a nice man, too, Ken Anderson.
Isn't he a nice man? Has his law degree from Chase Law School in Kentucky.
Got a man open. Oh, goodness, right off of
Collinsworth. Did it ricochet off his shoulder? That was catchable.
Yes, sir. He look at that. He knows that he should have had that football. One reason is he let the ball come into his body instead of catching it with his hand. It's a zone defense. He's looking for the open spot. 81 is David Bursard. You can see right here. Right off his shoulder pad. Had he got the hands out there, caught it in his hands, he would have had a first down.
Fourth down. McAnally the kick. Anderson has completed 18 of 34 for 299 yards. Scott Warner set for the kickoff, the punt return. 4:19 left to go in the game.
Oh, good kick.
It's a great roll. And goes out of bounds around the 3-yard line.
Take that, he said. All right.
All right, we'll take a timeout. The score is Cincinnati 30, Atlanta 21, a 47-yard kick for Pat McAnally.
This is Bryant Gumbel in New York. The Houston Astrodome, Gifford Nielsen has thrown yet another touchdown pass to Dave Casper. Third time that connection has worked on the day with 1:51 left to play. Houston's in front of Pittsburgh, 21-20. Go back to Charlie Jones.
All right, thank you, Brian, for that update.
3
Recognize your voice
TDs to Gifford Nielsen to Casper in that ball game to bring them from behind, at least for right now.
Atlanta now from their own 3-yard line. Alfred Jenkins. Big first down. Now the Falcons have some room to operate. Louis Breeden makes the tackle.
I'll tell you, Alfred Jenkins really did a selling job on Louis Breeden. Lewis Breeden thought he was going up top, and he turned and took off, and Alfred Jenkins stopped and was wide open. Good throw by Morosky. 34 Breeden coming back. You didn't see the entire thing, but there's Jack Thompson, backup quarterback at Cincinnati. We'll look to see him when Cincinnati gets the ball. He's got an
one-on-one. Inadvertent tripping. Ken Riley, the defender. Alfred Jackson, the receiver, just kind of touched his heel as he cut behind him. No flag. There should not have been a flag. Another call with the official. You know, they get a lot of static. A lot of the non-calls are some of the better calls.
Right. You shouldn't call something that doesn't happen. It's bad enough to miss calls that do, but don't call one that didn't happen. We found out one thing about Morosky, that he can't throw the ball long.
Yes, he can. Another thing about Forrest Gregg, the head coach of Cincinnati. He can coach. 2nd and 10 from the 23. And also that the two divisions that Parody forgot were in the East, the AFC and the NFC, because the 4 wild card teams are there. Philadelphia, the Giants, Buffalo, and the Jets. Wallace Francis. Bobby Kemp makes the tackle. It'll be a first down.
They're not getting the pressure on the quarterback. Taking a look here now. San Francisco, the best record in pro football, 12-3.
It'll be 13-3.
13-3.
Yeah, it'll be 13-3.
13-3 with a win over Dallas, Philadelphia, and the Giants in the NFC East and the AFC East.
Buffalo.
Miami, the Jets, and Buffalo. Has been dominating football this year in the NFL.
First down, Atlanta. 41-yard line. The pass is complete to Lynn Kane out of the backfield. Lynn Cameron with the tackle.
They've got to hustle. They got to get moving now. They're down by 9 points.
Tampa Bay, they're in the Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. They'll be at home. San Francisco, they're in. Atlanta, Los Angeles, New Orleans, they'll be at home. Gain of 4 in the last place, 2nd and 6. Lynn Kane, 7 receptions for 61 yards in the game. Morosky to Andrews. First down. Reggie Williams with the tackle.
He breaks tackles, doesn't he? That's one of the reasons he's such an outstanding back. He may not have the blazing speed of some of the other runners in the National Football League, but he is an outstanding back. Over 2,000 yards total offense this year for William Andrews.
Also, he's a great blocker. Junior Miller, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. The ball at the Cincinnati 44-yard line. Check of the clock shows 2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the season for Atlanta.
They'll get one play off before the 2-minute warning. They're not out of it. They're 9 points. You know, they need to get a touchdown in a hurry.
It would liven up the crowd. It was sparse to start with.
Well, a lot of them seem to be leaving.
Sparser. 2nd and 10. Cincinnati 44. High and incomplete. 2 minutes left to go. Francis, the intended receiver. Jim LeClaire was there for the defense. Andrews is 2,021 yards on the season. We'll be back with the last 2 minutes.
1967, 15 degrees below zero in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Packers trail the Cowboys by 3. The field is a sheet of ice as Bart Starr keeps the ball and sneaks into the end zone for the score. Who made the block that sprung him? Right guard Jerry Kramer against massive Jethro Pugh. The Packers win 21-17 and claim the NFL championship.
At NBC, we'd like to wish you a happy holiday season from our executive producer at NBC Sports, Don Omeyer, coordinating producer for NFL coverage on NBC, Ted Nathanson, today's producer, Larry Cirillo, and today's director, Ted Nathanson. He gets 2 credits. Way to go, Ted. Technical director, Lenny Stucker, associate director, John Libretto, and our associate producer, Michael Hadley. We hope that you all have a very, very
there they are.
Holiday season.
There they are.
That's the rest of our crew. Well, easy come, easy go.
I'm up here with a top coat on, 3 pair of socks, long underwear, and they're out there without any clothes on.
Oh, but they're young. Young. 3rd down and 10.
Oh, the heat's on.
High, and it is dropped. Almost intercepted by Bobby Kemp. Wallace Francis, the intended receiver. Now, he has been high on the last 3 or 4 throws. Is there a particular reason on a cold day that you're high, or is he just...
No, it's just his release. He's not getting his legs into it like he should to bring that ball down. He's let
4th down and 10. Of course, they'll go for it. Minute 53 left to go. Cincinnati in front by 9. Roski has completed 7 of 14 for 82 yards. It's all in the second half. 4th down and 10.
If they have any hopes of winning, this is the play. They've got to get it. Got it.
Got it. 22-yard line. 21 yards. Alfred Jackson, the man they call action, got it, and Ray Griffin made the tackle.
And they made a good move in calling timeout because they would have taken too much time to get down over the ball and get the play called. Here it is. He stepped and he threw. The ball did not take off that time, Charlie. It was a good throw right on the numbers.
Jackson, 3 receptions, 57 yards. We've got a timeout. And we'll be back to wrap up this ball game. Stay with us. It could get close. We would like to welcome those viewers who have just joined us. Our ball game is still in progress. And a reminder that immediately following the conclusion of NBC's football coverage over most of these stations except for the Mountain and Pacific time zones, where, of course, it will be seen at its regular time.
1:42 remaining in this ball game. Atlanta's got to get into the end zone in a hurry.
21-yard line. 1st down. It is complete to Junior Miller, the tight end. He's to the 6. Ken Riley makes the tackle. Atlanta will take a timeout. They'll stop the clock. A gain of 15.
Junior Miller's come so close, but here it is. Borowski going back to throw, and he drills this ball. Another crossing pattern. Cincinnati's had a great deal of success with this pattern. Atlanta did too. Good throw by that young quarterback.
It's also a good tackle by Ken Riley.
Nobody wanted to see that big guy coming down there.
Junior Miller is 6'4", 235, is 4.6 speed. You do want to hit him at the ankle.
Yes, and Riley's about 185 at the most.
These are the rest of the people that made today's telecast possible.
One timeout remaining for Atlanta. They've got 1:33 remaining. They can get that ball in the end zone in a hurry from here, Charlie. They're only on this 6-yard line.
Costanza.
Joe,
he got
Costanza.
He got 2 credits.
Whatever happened to him?
All right, let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. This is Charlie Jones, Lynn Dawson. Atlanta threatening, trailing by 9. 1:33 left. 6-yard line. 1st down, goal to go. No, it is incomplete.
Flag is down.
Alfred Jackson couldn't pull it in. Ray Griffin was there. Flag is down. Clock is stopped. 1:28.
Holding against Cincinnati.
Just the difference. They'll go to the 3. Down will go. Will be 1st and goal to go from the 3. Atlanta started this drive on their own 3-yard line.
Great experience for this young quarterback. Borowski, number 15. He had some problems with the balls taking off on him during the course of the second half playing, but the last few balls he's thrown was very good.
Holding, number 34, 1st down.
Holding on Lewis Breed.
He doesn't believe that either. You remember early in the ball game, he got called a 15-yard penalty for hitting a receiver out of bounds. Would you say that they are overly aggressive?
The way to play the game.
Huh? Big got another one back there, number 26, Bobby Kemp. Who will hit you?
They like to get with you, don't they?
They'll get your attention.
First and goal to go. Pass is low.
Well,
1:24 left. Andrews, the intended receiver, second down, goal to go.
Jim LeClaire was all over him out there. This is, you know, sometimes you look at a young quarterback and they're looking at the sidelines for help. There's no help to be had, but this is a learning process all young quarterbacks have to go through. How to handle the situation. You must know exactly what has to be done and how to go about doing it, and not get frustrated if things don't go exactly the way you plan.
Russ McKeska is in. He and Junior Miller, two tight ends. Mayberry is in. Second and goal. Lynn Kane.
Touchdown.
Touchdown. A 97-yard drive. Atlanta pulls within 3, extra point and onside kick to come.
You salvage something, Charlie, when you do that. When you take that ball 97 yards, when the game really doesn't mean anything in the standings, you are out of it. Look at that, 13 plays, 97 yards. Lynn Kane ending up with a 3-yard run into 6 points.
Extra point is good.
Guess the thing that I'm talking about you salvage is surprise.
Atlanta pulls within 2. Let's go to New York City.
Okay, Charlie Jones, give it back to you in just a moment. First of all the scores from the top of Sunday 16. The Denver Broncos lost the game they had to win. The Bears beat them today 35-24. Central Division title by beating the Lions 20-17. It was Kansas City 10, Minnesota 6 in the last NFL game at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington. The Jets and Giants move on to the playoffs. The Packers do not. Jets 28, Packers 3 at Shea. The Eagles shut out the Cardinals. Final from the Vet was 38-0. The Colts found they could beat the Patriots twice this year but couldn't beat anyone else. Final was 23-21. San Francisco 21, New Orleans 17. The 49ers finish at 13-3. As you know, the Bengals are out in front of the Atlanta Falcons 30-28 late in the fourth period. The Redskins beat the Rams. It was 30-7. The Rams finish at 6-10. The Oilers have just finished defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers, final 21-20. And the Cleveland Browns are losing to the Seattle Seahawks. It's 42-21 in the fourth period. You're all caught up. And as we send it back to Atlanta, I'd like to wish Charlie Jones and Lenny Dawson a very Merry Christmas, gents.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Long time. That's a lifetime remaining. Onside kick upcoming. Luckhurst is one of the better ones. It's a high hop. Goes out of bounds. Flags fly with the kick going out of bounds. Now, what Luckhurst wants to do for the ball, he wants it to roll a couple of times, then bounce over the Bengals, and he wants a wide receiver to catch it. That's the whole plan.
He did a great job here. They had a shot at this ball, and he did exactly what you're talking about. Watch it. Up and over. Cincinnati's man touched it, and right there, they had a shot at it.
If Scott Warner could have just pulled it in with that right hand.
Was it too? That was a situation where they lined up, and then 4 or 5 of the players went from the left side over the right side, and they overloaded that area.
Luckhurst is the left-footed kicker.
Charlie, remember the game we were doing, and I think it was the Giants a couple of years ago. Or
What's Ken Anderson doing out there? They want his hands? He wants a timeout. And now the chase is on. One of his better moves is the handoff. Oh. Up and away. Oh. Well, that's a fitting way to wind up the regular season.
That's a better way of putting it. Strange. Strange. And they say the players are a little strange for playing this game. The players may be the only sane ones around. I had Johnny Robinson, great safety for Kansas City, told me that after he retired. He said, I used to think the players were crazy until I got out in the real world.
Scramble for it. It has to go 10 yards. It does go 10. Atlanta say they have it. Let's see what the officials say. They're still wrestling for it. Right in front of the Atlanta bench. Atlanta says it, and now the officials say it. The Falcons have the football. A field goal could win it.
Mentioned early, and here it is right now. You're seeing the play. It has to go 10 yards. And it did. It hit the Cincinnati Bengal player, and he coughs it up. M.L. Harris was down there. Here it is. It has to go 10 yards. That's 5 right there. That's 5. Here comes the 10.
That's
10 right there. M.L. Harris, number 83, was there. He didn't come up with the ball. Atlanta did. And I think we said at the top of this show that this game is important to both clubs. One is the home field advantage for the Cincinnati Bengals. The other for Atlanta, even though they are out of it. I want to salvage something called self-respect or pride. Got a man down on the field.
I believe that's M.L., yes.
M.L. Harris, number 83.
Hand or his wrist may have been... As soon as he went after the ball, you know, the roof fell in on him. And you saw the big smile on the face of Mick Luckhurst. And now he's over loosening up, looking for a field goal possibility. Atlanta has 1 timeout left. For Luckhurst to get within his range, they need to get to about the 30-yard line. His longest is 47 yards.
When these players say they're playing for pride, I think that particular play and what has happened here by Atlanta exemplifies what they are talking about. That they're not just going through the motions. They're out there to try to win this football game and to salvage something out of the season. A season that they felt would be a very good one which would get them to the playoffs and perhaps an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl.
From their own 44-yard line. They play the short field. They need to pick up 26 yards. Moriarty is the man who recovered. Tom Moriarty, number 45, from Bowling Green, in his 5th year. 1:12 left to go.
Blitz is on.
Pass is complete after the scramble to William Andrews. 50-yard line.
You got to hurry.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Cameron with the tackle.
56 seconds remaining. 55 counting down.
Atlanta with 1 timeout remaining. Incomplete. That'll stop the clock.
Flag is
down. Look at it. Freak throws his helmet and goes bananas.
There goes another flag.
That'll cost him another 15-foot. Oh, Lord. Even if you get a bad call, you can't lose your cool.
Yep. Offside.
Cincinnati offside. Cincinnati holding. Personal unsportsmanlike conduct, Cincinnati.
Multiple choice out there for Atlanta. That ball was nowhere near the receiver. Nowhere near the receiver.
If the ball was not catchable, normally it's not called as pass interference.
Here is the throw. Wallace Francis, number 89, was the intended receiver. It's going to be a first down for Atlanta. And look where they're carrying that ball. Look where they're carrying the ball.
They divided at the 30-yard line.
Unsportsmanlike, number 34. First down.
Right now, edge of the range of Mick Luckhurst.
They have a timeout left. They've got 42 seconds. They have plenty of time to get 3 points. That was a gift by Cincinnati. They are. They're going after this young quarterback. He's got it away.
25-yard line. Francis with the reception. Hicks with a tackle.
32, 31 seconds, 30 counting down. They've got to get over the ball, get this play off, and stop that clock.
2nd and 5. 25-yard line.
Got to get rid of it. There he did. There he did.
That'll stop the clock with 16 seconds. Now they can run a play. If successful, they can then take their timeout as the clock runs down at about 3 or 4 seconds and go on with the field goal.
I would anticipate Cincinnati, if I were Atlanta, I'd anticipate Cincinnati coming out after this young quarterback once again. So whatever play they call, they better call a play with the anticipation that the linebackers are coming and maybe even one of the safeties or a cornerback.
3rd down and 5. If they do not make the first down, of course, then they will take the timeout.
Well, you're looking at right now where the ball is about a 42-yard field goal attempt. So they can't afford to lose any more yardage.
His longest is 47.
Look at here.
Andrews. First down. 15-yard line. They'll stop the clock. He goes out of bounds at the 15. Iron hit.
They're going after it right now. They should be in there thinking 10 seconds to go kick the field goal because they don't care whether they win by 1 point or 6 points. They just want to win. They need 2, a field goal.
The smile on the face of the kicker. Mick Luckhurst, the free agent from California. He's ready. He wants it.
Well, he should. He's the man that had the onside kick, and he did it twice in a row. First time the ball was batted out of bounds, they had a chance to get it. The second time they did get it.
Andrews was out of bounds. That stopped the clock.
10 seconds on the 39 seconds on the 30-second clock. They better get moving.
Atlanta still has a timeout remaining. Now just diving for a yard. They wanted to put it ball right in the middle of the field. Now they stop the clock. 11 Falcons turn around and signal for the timeout. Listen to the roar of the crowd remaining. Eric Sanders, number 67, will be the snapper. Number 6, John James, will be the holder. And number 18, Mick Luckhurst, rounds out the trio. Maybe Atlanta can salvage something out of the season after all. It looked like they were dead, that they were out of it, but they came back. A 97-yard drive. Got him a touchdown when Kane went in from the 3-yard line. The onside kick was successful. Now it's down to this. 6 seconds remaining in this football game. If he gets it through, they win it. If he doesn't make it, then they'll have about, 7 months to think it over. At least if you go out on a winning note, something like this, it leaves a good taste in your mouth getting ready for next season. And for Atlanta, they will have an 8-8 record of 500 seasons. Greg wants a timeout. Yeah, he wants to give this kicker a little more time to think about it. Let him think about it. Cincinnati calls for the timeout. Maybe he's waiting for a blue northern to blow in here. Oh, a little gamemanship. Bengals with 3 timeouts remaining, now with 2. Now the officials say, no, you're not going to take back-to-back timeouts. They've changed that rule. 33 yards. And it's right in the middle of the field. Low snap. Kick is up. It is no good. It is no good. From 33 yards away. And with that play, time runs out on the Atlanta Falcons. The Cincinnati Bengals dodge a bullet. The final is Cincinnati 30, Atlanta 28. This has been Charlie Jones and Lynn Dawson. So long, everybody. I'm Charlie Jones.
And I'm Pat Summerall. And Charlie, as you know, this was the first week in